The greater the feeling of inferiority that has been experienced, the more powerful the urge to conquest, and the more violent the emotional agitation. Alfred Adler.
You're listening to Writing Roots, brought to you by Aspen House Publishing.
Welcome to Writing Roots. I'm Lee Hull.
And I'm Lee Esses.
We may need to include a trigger warning in this particular episode. We are going to be talking about the feeling of being inferior, which oftentimes causes bullying. So we will be addressing some somewhat more difficult topics around bullying today. But it is important for storytelling to know how to properly convey the emotion of inferiority and how that will present in different personality types.
There should be multiple times in your story where your character is challenged, and especially challenged in a way that they don't feel like they themselves are up to the task. The burden is too heavy, there is too much happening, the bad guy is too powerful. That is when you need to rely on that inferiority. If your character is just like, "No, we got this," the whole time, then the bad guy won't be as scary, the ending won't be as energetic, the story won't hit home as much as if you have that character falling to their knees going, "I don't think I'm good enough."
We will likely see it at least once when they are rightfully inferior. They have lost the fight, they made the wrong choice. A good example of this one is in The Karate Kid, where the main character Daniel ends up in a fight with the Cobra Kai crew and he gets his butt kicked.
This moment of showing that the character is inferior, that they are too weak, is vital in making sure that your darkest moment later on is valid. That this character isn't just pulling a woe is me, but I've already been kicked by the Cobra Kai up and down the street. I don't want to go against them again. It hurt. This is at least the second, if not third, because rule of three, time when the character has had the opportunity to feel inferior, but this time they're showing the growth that the story has put them through.
So in a lot of cases, that first time, they will feel less inferior and get proved wrong. And then the second time, they will feel more inferior and again get proved wrong. Roles get switched. So how do you write and represent this feeling of inferiority during a story?
The most obvious is body language. There's the hunched shoulders and their chin is down. They're trying to make themselves look small and not like a target.
And if they're physically knocked down, they're going to be slow to stand back up because in a lot of cases, they don't want to be seen as a threat. They don't want to attract more attention, more ire. They don't want to get knocked down again. So they're just, I'm just going to stay down here because you can't push me down if I'm already down.
That body language is going to be across the board, whether it's your point of view character or non-point of view character. These types of things will tell the audience, this person is feeling inferior. This person is not feeling up to the task. This person is not feeling like a hero. If you want to show inferiority in your non-point of view characters, we do have a couple of things that will really make the characters come to life. The first and most obvious is to put them in a situation where they fail. Have a head-to-head competition with the bully. They are going on a spelling bee. This character's like, I'm the nerd. I've got this. And then they freeze because they see the bully glaring at them and they lose the spelling bee.
I think it's important in this one to show that it is not their skill making them inferior, but some other emotion, a feeling that they are experiencing that is causing them to then be inferior in the end, even though really they may not be. So yes, that kid who should have won the spelling bee probably would have won it if he didn't let the other people get in his head and make him second guess and make him worried and make him anxious. You can also use bullying to represent inferiority, I think, on both sides, because the tendency to bully other people usually comes from a feeling of being inferior. So they want to outwardly show and prove that they are more powerful, that they are stronger, that they are bigger, because they feel inferior in other ways.
Another way to display inferiority or the feelings of inferiority in your characters is going to be through dialogue. You have characters who are directly pointing it out, going, look at the hand-me-down clothes and the red hair, you must be a Weasley.
So you have this confrontation. Draco is like, oh, please, you're a Weasley, this is hand-me-down clothes, whatever. And then you can see the other side. We turn and we see Ron kind of shrinking into himself and being like, oh, right. I'm less than because my family is poor and this is one of the Malfoys and they're super rich and super important and super influential. I'm nothing compared to that.
You will also see this condescending, it's okay if you give up on your dream. You were never good enough to begin with. Everybody else knew it. You are inferior, so join the rest of us in thinking that.
And again, in a lot of these cases with the dialogue, it is someone else showing or trying to tell a character that they are inferior, whether or not they actually are. If you decide that they are actually going to be inferior, then you can represent that instead of embracing that by trying to fight against it with an inferiority complex, like Chihuahuas.
They're the greatest example of inferiority and Napoleon complex. Of, I'm tiny, but you're not going to ignore me no matter what I say. But if you do want to show inferiority in a character that recognizes their own inferiority in the situation, they are being bullied, their books have been scattered across the hallway, they get knocked down, they're not going to straighten their spine, stand back up, roll their shoulders, and go, come at me again. That's not the type of behavior that a character that sees themselves as inferior will take on. When they get knocked down, they stay down.
If you do have a character that sees themselves as inferior, then that outlook is going to have a major impact on the story. And likely it is going to contribute to the Allies' failure. It is going to be a root cause or a root piece of why their allies fail.
And if the inferior character is not your hero, there are a couple things to keep in mind. First and foremost, your hero should be doing anything else. The hero is in the band room, so this person is getting bullied. The hero might even say, hey, I need you to go do this thing over there, so I can go do this thing over here. Of course, if the hero is not preoccupied doing something else, then it's probably early in the story. Harry does not really spend a lot of effort standing up for Ron because he just met the guy and Harry has his own issues that he's dealing with. He might go, hey, I'm not going to shake your hand. I can make my own friends. But he's not actually protecting Ron as much as protecting himself.
So he is reminded as well in that same moment of his supposed place in Malfoy's mind. So he turns that feeling of inferiority into a weapon against Malfoy because Malfoy did not intend to insult Harry, even though he did.
Mostly, you are going to describe this feeling of inferiority from your point of view character or your hero, your main character in your story. And so there are a couple things we want to make sure you add to the pot before you cook. The first is whatever their inferiority is should directly coincide with their internal struggle throughout the story.
They also do need to get knocked down. They do need to feel a moment where this feeling of inferiority is proved correct, where the bad guy is too strong, they're unable to fight against it. They aren't there yet, because that is going to carry through the rest of the story and usually be a cause of their darkest moment.
In that final combat, they are reminded of it once again. They have a rallying moment, often from the ground, where they want to give up, but something inspires them to get back up, but they really want to stay down. They want to accept their inferiority because it's less painful. If I just close my eyes now and wait for it all to blow over, I don't have to be the hero. I don't have to do the extra work. I'm okay being inferior. But they choose to get up anyway.
You also want to use your villain or your antagonist, whoever that is, to highlight the main character's feeling of inferiority at every possible moment. Remind that main character why they are inferior, why they are failing, why they are going to fail in the end. Because that will compound over and over and over again until finally you have that main character saying that the lie they believe about themselves is absolutely concrete 100% true and there is no fighting against it.
This is especially true of those bully villains who know that if I wear a pink fedora, just like your favorite uncle used to wear before he died, if I wear that at the spelling bee, then you're going to get distracted, you will get emotional, and I will win the spelling bee because of it. They're setting up the hero to fail because they know which buttons to press.
Overall, being able to write a character who is at their lowest, their weakest, their least powerful is one of the most powerful things that you can write. Because we've all felt that way. We've all had that dark moment where we didn't think we could get up. We have all felt that inferiority. It is something that most of your readers will be able to connect with easily. So use that to your advantage. Take all of those lies and those insecurities that you may have believed about yourself and give them to your main character so that they can conquer it, so that they can come out and pull the hope that we talked about last episode. And in doing all of that, you
write selfishly.
If you have a question or comment for our hosts or a topic you'd like us to cover, send us an email at writingroots@aspenhousepublishing.com or find us on Facebook by searching for Aspen House Publishing.